Seychelles is an archipelago of 115 islands in the Indian Ocean, off East Africa. It's home to numerous beaches, coral reefs and nature reserves, as well as rare animals such as the giant Aldabra tortoises. Seychelles has roughly 98,000 citizens, and is a melting pot of many cultures, which have commingled and coexisted since the first settlement of the islands, in 1770. The three main inhabited islands are the Mahé, Praslin, and La Digue. The official languages are English, French, and Seychellois Creole. The Seychellois are a colourful and harmonious blend of different nationalities from across the globe, all of whom have brought something of their own customs and cultures to create a well-integrated, harmonious, and vibrant modern island state, with a distinct culture, enriched from many continents. In terms of religious orientation, French Catholicism has proved the most influential, even surviving British rule. Popular Mass and other parish feasts are colourful occasions for Seychellois to dress up in their Sunday best and socialise. The Creole language, an adaptation of 17th-century French with other words and expressions coming from Africans and Malagasys, is the lingua franca, and has been elevated to national language status, earning the same respect that English and French receive. Today, Creole is a written language as well as spoken, resulting in an outburst of creativity in plays, poetry and prose. The Creole culture is today a major attraction for worldwide visitors who want to experience a unique way of life, and is showcased every year by the colourful Festival Creole, an animated tribute to everything Creole including the many distinct forms of Creole music, dance, literature and poetry. Creole architecture is another important cultural aspect of the islands, where the designs of some of the grand old houses with their steep roofs represent an architecture adapted for comfortable living in the tropics. Houses have many openings to catch the island breezes. Modern architecture attempts to assimilate traditional styles. Notwithstanding the many uncertainties associated with today's global climate, Seychelles enjoys a year-round glorious tropical climate, and nearly 12 hours of sunlight due to its position just south of the equator. All but its remotest southern islands lie well outside the cyclone belt, and the climate is such that there are no extremes of weather, with the temperature seldom dropping below 24 degrees Celsius or rising above 32 degrees Celsius. Traditionally, in January and February, the islands receive their life-sustaining rains, briefly filling the rivers and streams and teasing the vibrant foliage into rainbows of color. Although this is recognized as Seychelles' traditional rainy season, the rains tend to be less heavy than on, for example, the Indian continent, and may indeed, depending on the year, be very light. Between the months of May and September, the southeast trade winds generally bring drier, cooler weather, and more boisterous and agitated seas, particularly on the southeastern coasts of the islands, along with wind speeds in the region of 10 to 20 knots. Being a tropical island, however, means that, normally brief, tropical downpours can occur at any time of the year. The inhabitants of the Seychelles archipelago are known as Seychellois, whose society the gradual melding of peoples from across the globe, who first began to settle the islands in 1770, as part of the first French expedition. The inhabitants of the Seychelles archipelago are known as Seychellois, whose society the gradual melding of peoples from across the globe, who first began to settle the islands in 1770 as part of a first French expedition. The first settlers were a French party, consisting of a prophetic assortment of a handful of European settlers, accompanied by their black slaves and retainers. After a rocky start fraught with much infighting and political intrigue, this settlement eventually took root. The abolition of slavery in 1865 created a vacuum in the workforce, which began to be filled in the mid-19th century by contingents of Indian and Chinese workers, many of whom settled on the islands to become the merchant class. Today, with a population of just under 100,000 predominantly Catholic inhabitants, Seychelles is a republic within the Commonwealth, governed by a president who is head of both state and government, and who is elected by popular vote for a 5-year term of office. The nature of Seychellois society, and its orderly evolution has ensured an enviable degree of ethnic integration, social harmony, and political stability over many years, which have all intertwined to lay a solid foundation for the social, economic, and political growth that have been experienced in recent years, and particularly since the opening of its international airport in 1972. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe for more.